to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
I like mine better.
From the historic Y7 Depot, welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Division.
Well, good evening, Ken.
Good evening, sir. How are you today?
I am well. We're holiday weekend. Was Santa good to you? Did he bring you new SKL trains or?
He didn't, but the UPS guy did today. I received 4 new boxcars from Scale Trains. They've redone the S Helper service boxcars and they've reintroduced them. So I'm kind of excited about that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, Santa was good to me. I got one of his elves came over and helped me punch a hole in my wall. So now my air booth extracts all the fumes outside instead of up to the missus. So he's quite happy about that.
That's good. That's good. So next step is?
next step is to buy a paintbrush or something like that, or an airbrush maybe that'll work better. I'll have to talk to Joe about that. So
I thought we were going to expand the layout. The Split Rock survey crew found another
yes,
rich vein of ore. They got to go out and get that.
Yeah, I looked at the price of Flex Track and stuff, so we will be starting a GoFundMe for ore mine number 3 or something like that. Maybe a grant from the Thousand Lakes region. We'll see if we can.
There you go.
Add onto the layout. So, well, we got a good crew in here tonight. Looks like got over 20 people so far.
We do. The other advantage we have, or you have, or we all have, is Mrs. Binish, who's very free with her money. Look at all she gives Joe, and I'm sure if we come over and just mow the lawn, she'll buy you a Flex Track.
She might. It might be, or help her with the dance studio. That's what I've always said.
Ooh, yeah.
This hobby is cheaper than a bass boat, and she knows it. So.
Yeah, but I don't think that you or I would look as good as Joe seems to look in those dancing tutus.
No, he pulls it off quite well. You wouldn't think so, but he does. He does.
Yeah.
So well, yeah, we got a good crew in here today. I see we got Dave Sir from La Crosse, and I see Mike Penn checking in from West Virginia, and all around the other places here.
Good.
Podcaster. Tonight we're going to talk about the podcast, right? We're going to go over 2023, and we brought our crew with us, right? So we've got 4 other members of our podcast here. So it'll be 6 of us, and as I said, there's 6 of us. We started with nothing, and we brought it with us. So,
right.
But first, let's talk about what we have coming up in the Twin Cities division here, Ken.
Right. This is a big first quarter event that we always talk about, Operators Retreat. And I know I've gotten a few people that have signed up at info@tcdnmra.org and suggested they want to participate. And we're looking forward to that. The date's out there. We've got lots of good layouts, and we're, it's so sign up. It's really going to be a good time. And I know slots will fill up starting January 1st, but you know how model railroaders are. They always want to jump on and get in first. Meet at 7:30 at the Perkins. Get a good meal, go out and have a layout, have lunch usually you'll have lunch with the crew you're working with. And then the second layout in the afternoon. It's going to be a great opportunity. You get to run 2 layouts. And if you work your cards right, which we hope you do, you'll end up with opportunities to run again. So that's great. We ask for a $10 donation, and we do that to further all of our outreach programs. Modelers Retreat is March 16th, and again, a great thing. Same space, same building that we've always been in, but we're going to go back to the other space on the other end of the building, and just to switch it up a little bit. Still have 2 good clinic rooms that we can work with. So it's going to be a great event. Friday night is social and setup. Saturday we'll have displays, clinics, and more socializing. The coffee pot will be on. There'll be donuts available, and there's lots of food in the area. So make it a fun day. And isn't it March 16th? That's, you know what that is? That's 3/16, and that's S scale day, because S scale is the 3/16 scale.
It is. That's why we always have it that day. It's mandatory.
Well, that or Leprechaun Day, yes. That's for a whole different reason. But good event. Put that on your calendars right now, folks. We'll again on first week of January we'll have a newsletter coming out, and it'll list all the clinicians and have further information on how to sign up.
That's right.
Minnesota Free-Mo is still down. The SHO Free-Mo is still down in the Burnsville Mall, and that's a great show. There's a little pop-up hobby shop right across the way that's got some great deals. So that's a good deal. And then we're still looking to put together a date for the Fremo N scale in Waconia, and that was a lot of fun. That's that picture you see in the upper right-hand corner. Great opportunity to go and operate on a nice big N scale Fremo layout. A lot of fun. So, gosh, it's almost 2 weeks now, and we'll be doing our first Zoom, and then we do another one on the 8th. And we do the Zoom because typically Minnesota weather is such that people don't want to go out in the freezing cold and the blizzards of January. But frankly, some of us might be mowing our lawns January 11th. The weather.
Yeah, mine's never looked greener. Mine's coming along really nice.
Yeah, I did the aerated, punch holes in it, and put my late fall fertilizer down, and then so the lawn's going crazy. So, but I don't think I want to mow. But so we'll have special video presentations. One of the things I like about having the meetings via Zoom is we usually get people dropping in from all over the world, which is a lot of fun. Remember to have some items. If you're working on a project and you want to tease us with it, get a hold of us through info@tcdnmra.org and send us some pictures with a little bit of a background on it, and tease us about some of the things that you're bringing to the Modelers Meet and to the convention. So don't forget that. April, we've got our layout tours, and that's always a lot of fun because we've got so many great layouts here in the Twin Cities area. And May 16th to 20th is the TLR convention in Eau Claire. August is the NMRA National in Long Beach, and I saw a presentation on that last weekend on NMRAX, and they really have a great show planned for that. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
So here's more detail on the Sawdust City Hauler. The hotel is a sleep-in and conference center. We visited that. It looks like a really nice place to be. $85 a night. Boy, you can't go wrong with that. That's tremendous. We have a speeder trip planned, and we're only going to be able to take 70 people on that. So when you see the registration form come out next week, make sure you sign up for that real quick. It is an extra charge event, but what an amazing event it is. We'll have a bus going down there and back, get to ride the speeders, and it's something very rare opportunity. Carson Park has train rides behind a little live steamer, which will be fun. There's a Sawdust City Logging Museum. Joe has put together a good list of clinics with the guys down in Eau Claire. So there's just some terrific things to see. Layout tours, they have phenomenal layouts in the area. Celebration room that we expect for the division conventions and the region conventions. Always great modeling to see. There'll be a banquet with award, and then the famous lucky ticket raffle, where you buy a roll of tickets, put them wherever you want to put them, and then the lucky ticket wins whatever event that is or whatever item that is.
Amazing prizes.
Amazing prizes.
So yeah, so we're looking for you if you have a presentation to put on at our Zoom meeting, the short clinic, a how-to, a tour your layout, the latest rail fanning experience. Let us know. We'll make you look good. Contact us at the tcdnmra@gmail. We will, and Ken and Randy and everybody will set you up.
Exactly. And we've got a couple of those coming up, don't we? In the next couple of weeks. So, but we have time for you guys other than that.
Yeah. And Scale Model, support our friends down there. Still some brick and mortar shop. Club Hobby, they gave us a lot of gift certificates for Christmas. And also, we'd like to thank Scenic Express for their donations to our Modeler Skills Day, of which we will be having another one really soon. So that's we're looking forward to that. We're taking, I guess we'll be taking suggestions on what you want to do for a hands-on clinic. We had decaling, scenery, weathering, and operations at the last one. It was a big hit.
Yep.
If you have something else, you want to do soldering or DCC, let us know.
Yes, we'd love to
Or
see
just
that.
more of the same. More of the same. So should we bring up the band of misfits now and just?
Well, either that or we can bring the 4 guys that are here. Well, okay.
Okay.
You're right. We can bring Dave, Ken, and then we'll bring Joe up. Hey, you got his whole face now.
All righty. Here's the people on the podcast. Greg Dahl and Dan Dosa still have respectable jobs, so they're not going to be seen tonight. But I saw our sponsor lady is in the chat, so you can say hello to Lovely Di and ask her what her next sponsorship will be. So, Mike, how are you? You doing good? We got him muted. I got to unmute him here.
Oh,
Okay, Mike, there you are. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. You know,
Santa good to you?
say again?
Was Santa good to you? I heard he brought you a new engine shell.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Shapeways. The elves at Shapeway sent me a UB. What did you call that? UB6.
U6B?
B.
Something you can give to Joe and he'll finish. So.
GE 70 tonner restricted height cab, which the Santa Maria had 1, and so
I'll paint anything but yellow.
yeah, and it.
Wow.
But I will entice you, Joe. It is a resin
Ooh,
shell.
I
So
love the smell of resin in the morning.
so I'll be contacting you about how to get rid of the ridges in the.
Oh, it was a 3D printed one. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work on that.
All right. So.
Ken, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
Santa good to you? Anything new in N-Scale or?
I ended up with a portable spray booth, so which is good because I've got a whole bunch of projects that need to get painted. So just have to, just like you, figure out a way to vent it. So more than likely, I'll just open up a cabinet door and shove the hose in the end of there and deal with that later.
Ken still has the hammer. You can bring Ken over. He still has his hammer. He'll come over and knock out a window or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of projects I have need painting. So that'll be the next thing to do here.
That'd be good. Good. David, how are you tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Just munching on some Christmas cookies in the background here. You know, got to help my wife get rid of them. So.
Oh, you're a giver.
Dave, did she make the nutmeg cookie logs?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Good.
I had that one, and I said it doesn't count because I wanted 3 more.
Right.
So it was like a test cookie.
Yeah.
So, and then, plus some spiked eggnog, which I just finished. So that's that's
Spike
usually.
Arduino.
Morgan there.
We didn't use Ensign Morgan. We had a little bottle of some whiskey sample that I don't even remember what it's from, but I think that's what she put in here. So I'm not complaining.
I'm just looking for someone who makes rosettes still. Those are my favorite holiday cookies.
Rosettes, huh?
Oh, those deep fried things on the little I can't think of it. You dip it into the batter and then it makes you put it in the hot oil. Yeah, those are good too.
And then
Put it
bury it
on a
in
stick.
powdered sugar.
Right.
Put it on a stick.
Yep.
Yeah, put on a stick.
There you go.
Joe, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Coming along.
All right. That's very good, very good. So we'll go through some stats we had this year, gentlemen. We had a really good year on the podcast. We had some interesting things that we talked about. So we had 16 episodes. So we didn't quite get out 2 a month, but we got a lot of them out there. And from Buzzsprout, we're supposedly in the top 10. So for downloads, so we're getting like to be nice up there and get 1,000, but we'll get the word spread around here. We'll be up to the Round the Layout podcast pretty soon. So, and here are some of the top cities, and 2 of them are in Australia. Does that surprise any of you?
Yeah. They must not have heard of you.
You know, I think they're bored watching their toilets go the other way, so they put us on.
I don't know. I haven't quite figured that one out. And of course, they love us in New York, or Heath just downloads our episodes a lot. I haven't figured that one out. So. But I guess we're popular in Australia. So. And 47 different countries.
Look at all those
Australia's catching up
Canadians.
to Canada. What's that?
Look at all those Canadians.
I know. They love us up there. Well, Minnesota's basically Canada, isn't it, Ken?
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad that Germany's so low.
Well, it's number 5. Wait till I get the list of the other countries.
Well, where's Poland? That's the important one.
Where's Poland? It might be on the list here. Here's our episodes. And people love the narrow gauge chat. And I guess with the narrow gauge convention coming up, we'll have to get some more insight from the guys from Eau Claire and Mr. Lynn Fors and Scott McLeod. And I think, you kind of wonder about that because maybe Dave can enlighten us. Didn't the National Narrow Gauge Convention is here in Minneapolis? I mean, the heart of narrow gauge country, isn't that?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, we did it in 2018, and it's coming back again in 2028, I think. So
26, 2026.
26, 28. It's far. Yeah, it's 26. You're right. 3 years, 2 years from now. So
yeah,
it was so good last time we decided to do it again.
Yeah. And then grain elevators, which was interesting because we wanted to have discussions, maybe Mr. Zeskin, on various industries. And grain and elevators to us seemed like something that was on everyone's layout that doesn't haul red dirt. So,
hey, Tom, I have a question for you. Those 2 narrow gauge layouts in the Eau Claire area, those are going to be part of the layout tours for the convention next year, I think?
All 3 of them. There's 3 over there.
Okay.
Yep.
Those are beautiful.
That are magazine worthy. 2 HON 30s and 1 ON 30s. Beautiful layout. Probably the most beautiful layouts I've seen. Pat Tony is an artist, an absolute artist. So check that out. Then we talked about not our buddy Heath here, our Cars Against Humanity. And this was with you, Joe, wasn't it, that we were discussing how to start cars? Because there's so many videos out there showing you how to work cards, but nobody shows you this is how to, when you get the kit, how do you fill out the cards, right?
Right. Yeah, that was fun. I had a good time doing that with Heath. It was very interesting to do it long distance, and he came in with some ideas, and we promptly told him no. But it was a lot of fun, and he seems like he learned a lot and enjoyed the process as well. So I really had a great time with that.
Just don't drop them.
Don't drop them. That was rule 1.
Yeah.
We didn't tell him that, so.
Yeah, I think that was another one. And then why do we have details that no one might see? I think Dan Dos and I talk about this all the time. I think maybe is that a quirk, Mike? You Mike Jordan, you think that's something quirky in model routers?
It adds seasoning to the steak. I mean, it just that little bit of touch, and I don't know, it's kind of fun when someone actually sees that detail that you worked so hard and hid behind the building.
Yeah.
Isn't it the journey is the enjoyment, not just the end result?
Yeah, that might be it, Joe, too. That's why, I mean, you're the guy who puts in all the brake rigging on cars, correct? So,
well, except for the airline up next to the underframe, but yes. So that's probably it.
Yeah, I was doing a bunch of that stuff today.
In
Nobody will ever see it. but I did it.
Is it true that you use human hair for the brake line?
No, cat hair.
No, there you go.
Cat's
Yeah,
whiskers.
Yeah, whiskers. There you go. All
Yeah,
the
like
cats in the neighborhood, no whiskers.
it's a
Wait,
process.
stop.
But
And of course, our discussion about yards, and Mr. Borowski was in on that one because I think there's a few of us that don't really have yards. You were one that just your yards were endpoints.
yeah, mine are staging yards. I don't have any out on the main line per se.
Which is interesting. Most people build their layouts around a yard.
All the cool kids do.
So there we got almost 41,000, 47 countries in our last 10 days.
Wow, South America.
We got two.
Yeah.
Wow. Probably a misdial or something.
Yeah. I think that's when Ken Ziska went on vacation. down
Exactly.
Yeah.
in Argentina.
Yeah.
Jessica, what do you think about this?
I don't see Poland on there.
The thing that we shouldn't tell people is all those ones from Minneapolis. That's Tom and I. We just keep going to everybody's computer we can find, all of our friends.
That's right.
Download the podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, it's
You
all
make
Ken's
it-
friends. I don't have any. So.
You
Well,
make
they
the
got St.
neighborhood
Paul
rounds
listed
every Friday.
listed early on there. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, St. Paul's in second place as it always is.
Ouch.
Colin has a suggestion for a show here.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I can
looks
put
like
them
a fun
anywhere you
topic.
want, as long as somebody else wires them. That's
Yeah.
Do we know people? Are there people in the Twin Cities that have operating signals?
Sure.
Sure.
well, the North Metro Club does.
North
Yep.
Metro.
Oh, you're right.
I've got them, but mine are manual operated traffic signals. So Rich Ramirez has an interlocking that actually functions.
Randy's new railroad does.
Yep. Who else? There's somebody else. Oh, Mark Amfar does.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got signals now? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Who else? Does Ed Petrie?
No.
No.
Tom Hokinson has a section
Yep.
in Cimarron that is signal.
Yep.
Well, I have a few that are dispatcher controlled, but
Yeah,
they
those are signals.
regulate the traffic from.
That counts, Dave.
Well, yeah, there you go. See,
But you have to let somebody else dispatch every once in a while.
we're almost there.
All right. That's what you
You'll
said
be-
last time.
Well, let's not change the subject here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, here's the rest of your
Really,
country, Joe.
Well,
Still
they're
no
really
Poland.
breaking that down right down to their street address and everything. Holy cow.
That's right.
Bahrain and Malta, but no Poland.
That's
Singapore.
right.
I'll have to talk to my people.
You better.
Huh.
And we got all the cities going down to Clarksville, Tennessee. I guess we are the last train out of Clarksville.
Actually, that's my nephew. That's where he lives, in Clarksville.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
We just docked your family now. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Karlsruhe, Baden-Württemberg.
A lot of Australians. It's sad that Canada's ahead of St. Louis. I don't know. San Antonio. Oh, there he is. Okay. Thanks, Robert. Our one Texas guy. And he says Finland. There we go. I just thought this was interesting.
There's
All these places here.
way too much information there.
Way too much information. I think they were just passing through the dialect. So
Yeah,
and there's a number of episodes, and even the small layouts one. And this is how people listen to us. So a lot of people must be out walking or jogging.
How come there's no flip phone on there?
I broke
Yeah,
it.
I can't go below 0.
I thought yours would be on there, Dave.
No, I've upgraded at least once.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't go below 0.
I think Paul is 16
Unknown
of
device.
you
That
in
might be
Pittsburgh.
Unknown device. That's the aluminum foil hat that somebody got to wear.
That's the space aliens.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Mark 7 Whizzer.
So Apple seems to be beating Spotify.
Yeah.
Other apps. I think they have the most of anything. So we're almost up to 100,000 downloads. We're 3 years old, and they haven't thrown us off the airwaves yet.
You and Ken should be able to get that up to 100,000 by tomorrow.
I can't bribe enough people. I spend all my money on Christmas, so I can't.
Oh, there you go. Presents for the grandkids, right?
I can't do that. Yeah.
Diamond earrings for Diana.
So we'll ask people in chat what you guys thought. What was your favorite discussion or any moments, or who's your favorite sponsor? I know that this last year we had a lot of sponsors. We had the Parts Eating Carpet and the Model Railroad Matrix, and of course the 3-hour YouTube videos that everyone loves. So if you got a good sponsor for us, or you have a good topic, please chime in.
I think a good one would be the Pico Electro Frog turnout, or whichever one it is. They got 3 of them. You're trying to get your engine to work, and nothing works. And some guy throws a turnout across the room, and the other part of the layout. Next thing you know, you got juice and you're ready to go. It's like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah. Yes, Pico won't be sponsoring our show, so it's just kind of. And we got Mike, all the way from Canada. Mike, you took me. Mr. Jordan, what was one of your favorite episodes we chatting about? At least the ones that we can talk about.
Well, I think the episode that Alan Sandkamp was on was probably my favorite. He came up with the idea of what makes a good railroad, and so that I think that was an interesting discussion. So that's my favorite, and I have to agree with someone named Robert. He liked the commercial about Ensign Morgan, and I have to agree with him. Especially the more you use it, the more you like it.
That's called day drinking.
Day drinking, yes.
Yeah. I didn't know it had a name, but thanks.
Old fashions, Mike.
Mr. Zenska, what was one of your favorite episodes or whatever we chatted about?
I like all the ones that I wasn't on, because then that way, when I listen to it, it's fresh. Of course, now that I think about it, if they don't play until like 6 weeks after we recorded it, it's all fresh anyway, because I forget everything we talked about.
Every day, make new friends, the same
is,
people.
Yeah. The one thing that would be fun, and I know it's undoable, would be to hear from more of the folks about, what sort of special things do you have that you'd like to be interviewed about? For instance, if you have a real simplified way of doing signals, how do you do it? If you know how to take a glass block out of a window wall efficiently and effectively, we sure could have used that. But, there's so many people out there with skills. Graham's cleaning his model railroad room right now, and it's like, people do stuff like that? That's pretty cool.
Graham, you need to
Vague
put
terms.
a stocking over the end of the vacuum cleaner, and then it'll catch all those important little parts that you, as Mr. Jordan says, sent into the future.
Yeah. There's
I did
a
the Cardinals.
yeah.
I did the cardinal sin. I was working on a bunch of projects. I had all these things on my workbench, a bunch of little detail parts and all sorts of windows and ladders and all that types of stuff. And then I spilled spilled the glue bottle over. So now I've got all these parts and stuff glued to my workbench. So that worked out really good.
That's not
Well, you
good
won't
to
lose
them.
them.
Along with the cutting mat that's glued to the bench too. So nothing moves now. I can take the bench anywhere I want and shake it upside down and I won't lose anything now.
Well, like Joe said with the stocking, I mean, if you don't have $500 worth of detail parts in your shop vac, what kind of model roader are you? So
That's the line where the beginner to experienced is crossed.
Yeah.
$500 worth of scenery materials in my shop vac.
Right.
Has
Do a
anybody
whole
ever
new
used?
layout.
Has anybody ever used more than half a bottle of glue? I mean, I find that I spill at least half of it all over everything.
Or you leave the top ajar when you go to bed, and then the next morning you come, it's all evaporated.
Yeah, that's true.
Ask me
Yeah.
how I know.
Yeah.
I think there's a new sponsor here. Someone just mentioned that they have a parts launching sprue cutter.
I'm making notes on that from.
Oh yeah, I got
Dave
one of
there.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You always have the sprue, but never the part. you
that's
know?
correct. Yeah. So
Pro tip, fellas, grab the little part, not the sprue, because the
Yeah.
sprue will be easy to find.
Oh, well, look who's the smart guy now. Okay.
Exactly. No, someone told me.
All right. We'll cut Dave Berman in on the royalty check for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Along with Dave's scenery or his geography bender.
Yep. I've got a patent on that, so
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we need that for a T-shirt. We need Mr. Sampson to make some designs for us. We better pay him one of these days. So
Sorry about that. I dropped my phone.
A magnetic wristband.
I got one of those too. My wife was a little scared when I was walking around with the cutlery block stuck to my wrist, but I felt safe.
so it doesn't stick to the plate in your head either.
Exactly. Oh.
So
Doesn't work on stainless, Tom. Get with the times.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you should see them uncoupling cars with that.
Right. If I sneeze, the whole yard uncouples.
Yeah, he doesn't use any magnets I have on my layout.
well, that's why
Yes, of
Ken
course.
doesn't invite him over to his N scale layout. He
Yeah,
walks
I
out
walked
with a
around
whole
with cars
string of cars.
Playing barrel of monkeys with his wristband. Yeah, I think Blue Tubs might be the realest sponsor we've had. So it's just
Didn't
I
you
don't know. That Rapido coupler one was good.
So Colin said we should talk about track maintenance. I don't know if that's cleaning track or fixing things and signals. Colin's got a lot. He wants to learn a lot from us. I don't know. He doesn't know us very well, I guess.
What is his problem?
Yeah. He's aiming low.
Yeah.
The bar's on the floor with us. So
I saw Dave Berman comment. There's a guy that we're waiting for him to make the mistake of inviting us down to operate and take movies of the lacrosse guys.
yeah.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go down there and cherry pick a few layouts for a weekend. That'd be fun. I'd go.
Yeah.
Dave says they feed everybody down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they run the 6 and 7 hour operating sessions. You old guys aren't gonna be able to handle that.
Well, we'll tag team it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Crew of 6. We're bringing 12.
Yeah.
Sub.
There's a crew change. Yeah. Again. Calling for the left-hander.
Yeah, there you go.
We also talked about the rotating case of broken dreams we've seen in the hobby shops, and the kit with the poorly written instructions. Not to name any manufacturers right there.
Sonoro.
I think we've all had that kit. Anybody seen my tower in Vermilion, you'll notice that the only instructions was the picture on the box for that.
Yeah.
And you
Is
had
that
the
why
box
that's not up
upside
there
down.
yet?
Yeah, the box is upside down like this.
Have you put that on the layout yet?
Maybe.
Okay. Sorry.
Working on the interior. I think it's the interior.
You got some of those 3D printed figures, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a yard tower or the Eiffel Tower once I followed the instructions. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, then we had the Deja Vu. Deja, you bought it again was a great sponsor.
Yeah.
And of course, the best boat.
That looks
I
like
like
an
the
interesting
bells.
one, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert, Pyramid of Coffee.
I only
I
have
like
two.
the bells. That
that
was
I'm
my
really-
favorite one. The bells. Everybody runs
The
their
bell
instance
is
with the
really
bells
nice.
on all day.
The line of the podcast so far. Hey, Quasimodo, shut it off.
Yeah, that was my
Enough
favorite one.
Quasimodo.
Exactly.
And we were up at North Metro,
Yep.
in that huge layout, that huge room, and somebody had that bell going for like half an hour. I thought it was Dosa just playing with me for a while. But
Well, that's the way the prototype does it.
yeah, that's my favorite line.
Yep.
Well, now to be fair about it, it was a brand new member, and they gave him the throttle, and they sent him off, but they didn't really give him much instruction. The lights were on, and so he's just so in tune with everything going on, but not in tune with the fact that it was his engine with a bell. And so he was coming and working where I was working for a while, and I said, you don't need to run the bell all the time. And he says, "Oh, is that me?" He says, I was hearing that, and I was getting a little irritated by it.
Yeah. Coming from a guy who spent his life with artillery.
Yeah, exactly. How the heck did you hear it, Ken?
Well, this guy was about 6 feet tall, so he was above it all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Well, there's been a couple of times when I've been yardmaster on the Wilmer division where the passenger trains have pulled in with the bell going, and it's like, hey, shut it off.
Yeah.
Well, but the real trains did that. I said, yeah, but the real trains didn't have a 300-foot really evil guy ready to throw the locomotive on the floor. Shut it off.
Yeah. So when you talk about what the prototype does, I live on the CP main line here, and this is all quiet crossings, and about half the trains come through here with the bells on. And I asked John about that, and he said that they're supposed to have the bells on when they go over the crossing, but not everywhere else. Some guys just turn it on and let it go.
Oof. I hear that train go by. Sometimes they blow the horns too. I like it.
Yeah, they still blow them in Crystal and New Hope.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, lots of times on the engine when you start the horn, the bell goes automatically, but you have to shut it off.
Oh, okay.
So Tom, I have a question for you.
Sure.
A lot of times you watch a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff about people operating the model railroads, and they're constantly blowing the horn every time they make any movement with the engine. They go forward 1 car length, blow the horn. Go backwards, blow the horn. Go forward, blow every move they make. They're blowing the horn. Is that? I mean, you're obviously a locomotive engineer, so what's the story on that?
That went out, I think, when they invented radios.
That's what I figured, but
yeah. But I know like 2 toots was forward and 3 was backing up. And I've seen guys do that in videos and stuff, and it's just why. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now I'm going to do it on the split rock.
Yeah, you should. That's why I've got rid of all the horns and bells. I have one grade crossing. Just one grade crossing.
I'm going to bring a handbell to ring the whole time.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Bring a stationary decoder and just I'll throw it underneath someone's layout.
Right. I've got a stereo speaker. I'll bring it. What are you doing there? Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring that bell up and you'll be able to ring it without any hands.
Hey,
I think you're threatening me.
hey, Ken, how's that squealer work on your layout?
It occasionally is how it's working, not all the time.
It's kind of a neat idea, but
It was
the only one I know of somebody that's got one. So I was just wondering.
It is. It's nice, and I think, for instance, Tom's where he's got the curve going around through the woods. That would be a nice spot. It's a good thing, and I think it's the kind of thing you would play once in a while, but it would be like the bells or anything else. You just it would just drive you crazy. Dave talks about card versus switch list, and that reminds me of the conversation Colin brought up about how to clean track. How do you have a conversation about that without it becoming a scrum?
We're putting people to sleep.
Well, are they dropping out?
I just think
how do you change someone's mind from what they already use?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you don't need to change anybody's mind. They're going to use whatever they feel comfortable with. So.
Right. Yeah.
It's an interesting discussion, but everybody has a givens and druthers that they're going to pick, and that's just what you want to do.
Yeah.
Modern passenger service can be interesting, but it's not as exciting as the central of Minnesota.
Well,
because nobody has plum on their cars, not purple, plum.
Nobody's got the flying squirrel that runs through the layout either. Is that what's that mean for many years?
No, we don't have the flying squirrel here. We had a mouse up the wall one time, right, Dave? Do you remember that, Dave?
I do. Yep.
Ran right up the block wall.
I know a guy that's got bats in his attic, but that they make an appearance from time to time.
Yeah. We had a show about the love of passenger trains, and we talked about a few people that run passengers. Joe, you're one. You're Dave. The rest of us not so much. And modern passengers, I'm probably only North Metro, but that would be a good discussion.
Gary Friesman does.
Tom Hokinson's got him, and John O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark Amphar runs passenger trains too, right?
Amphar does, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like modern passenger, not the 60s. I mean the year 20,000, 2000 or higher.
Yeah. Well, Gary Friesman runs Amtrak, and Mike Sophie, when he had his railroad, his idea was the Northern Pacific remained a separate railroad, and he had the FP units, and he painted it in the Main Streeter colors, and was that sharp.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few around.
Favorite tools, favorite engines. I always like that if you had somebody, what are your top 5? What top 5 tool recommendations would you give? Besides an X-Acto knife and a hammer.
Super glue on bonder.
Super glue, yeah.
By the gallon.
Yeah.
A chunk of wood with a hole in it, you can put the super glue in.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I think mine is the glass and some ice cubes.
Oh, well, that's a great tool, Mike. Such a good mentor for all of us.
What do you do with that?
Refill it. Why?
What do you do with that? That's why Mike Jordan has blue box cars for the last 30 years. Good enough.
Look at the detail on that one.
Yep. Yeah. Take that, resin car. Yeah. I can have 10 blue box cars for every one of your resin cars.
And a bottle of bourbon.
And a bottle of Henson Morgan.
That's how I can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, you ever going to upgrade? No, this is good.
Upgrade what?
Yeah,
This looks great.
Yeah, I might go to Wild Turkey from Big Room 7.
The gray ghost there. All right, a lot of. I don't know. Do we have a reputation because it's all Band-Aids and 911 here? Maybe
Yeah.
a reputation.
Yeah, the trouble is,
I'm a great modeler. Let's see if it can see it. See?
yeah,
Yeah,
the trouble is my phone doesn't have an 11 on it, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why it takes them so
phone
long to
anyway.
respond.
Dremel and an EMB tone. Oh, there we go. Yeah, guys making fun of me there. So, yeah, that might be a good discussion coming up. Is tools and safety and. some
Well,
other
Jay
boring
just
things.
posted there. Jay's been putting a backdrop up on his recent layout. I think backdrops could be a whole nother topic too, whether
Yeah.
you paint them on there or use photographs or buy like pre-printed like wallpaper type mural things. There's a whole
Or
gamut
just
of things you
put
can
a whole
use.
bunch of puffball trees on it like Ken does.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But I agree. I think Dan Dosa and I talk about this where backdrops have to be subtle enough they don't steal from the scene, but they have to be good enough to cover up, the back. So it's kind of a battle, I think, to make it not obnoxious, but nothing there. So
yeah, there's a photo print place. It's in the magazines, but you can ask for 10% whitewash over the photo, and then that puts the background, you can see it, but it's not brilliant in your face. And I thought that was a clever idea. And
It's good
I've
to have
seen-
that haze on there. Yeah.
yeah, yep. And then I've seen other backdrops that are just solid colors, no detail, but the gradient of green goes from, dark to light and light to dark. So
Yeah, a lot of people use the
that's mine.
sky blue too, right down to the track too, which I guess it depends where you're at in the world. You could see that.
Montana, you can do that.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't paint clouds and everything on mine.
Yeah, every day's a clear and
Like
sunny
Mike
day on the
Penn,
split rock.
Yeah, every day it's always sunny.
That's right.
What Mike Penn's bringing up now about hand painted in oils. Maryland does all mine hand painted with acrylics, but his point about it has to be good but not overpower the actors, and that's one of the things I worry about. Is I see some people have such an intricate backdrop that it takes away from the foreground.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
what are we talking here?
Right,
Okay, so acetone is cheaper than nail polish. All right.
Oh.
But does it go with Ensign Morgan?
Not so much.
Yeah,
On the rocks. All right.
that's right. Neat.
Photography operation collecting. How many viewpoints are there? There's a lot of viewpoints.
And there again, Robert brings up such a good point, and Tom and I were talking about this earlier. I model in S scale, so so
Really
many of
good.
the conversations about lamenting that all these new things that are coming out and how it's ruining your hobby. I can't even comprehend what it is, but so by nature, I have different parts of the hobby that I really appreciate. But that, to me, that's a good part about the hobby is if we can appreciate what everybody's doing, and this guy really likes to do photography, or he has a lot of historical photographs. Man, that's fun to look through.
Well, a lot of the stuff on your layout leads from one thing to another. Like the operations is fun, but then that leads you to photography, which is a whole nother hobby in itself. So and then, the scenery, leads you into the photography as well. So, one thing kind of leads you down a trail into another topic. Yeah, it's a good question.
I think that we've talked about too about like operations. Operations when you want to post or run operating sessions on your layout. Dan Dos and I were talking about this again. It almost makes you be a better modeler because you don't want derailments. You don't want electrical shorts. You don't want, engine stalling. You don't want this. So it leads to improving your layout. And I think that's why a lot of us lean towards operation because it just makes us a better modeler. Does it make us better at scenery or photographer? Maybe not, but to me, I'm like more inclined to work on scenery once my layout's running. So,
I've got a question. Like, you guys all have layouts. Do you ever run your layouts when you're not operating, or do you only run it when you do an op session? Because that's another thing too. A lot of people with layouts, they don't like to run them because then they have to restage them in between op sessions. That all depends on how you restage your layout too. Like on mine, for instance, I just pick up wherever my last session ended. And if I ever want to go down and run trains in between op sessions, I can just run the next ones on the schedule, and then we just pick up from wherever the last train ran. But there's people that have to restage their whole layout, in between stuff. So I'm just curious if, you guys ever just run stuff on your layouts when you're not doing an op session.
Yeah, I have a sequence of events, so I can just stop and start, and I'll go down and operate for an hour or so.
Yeah,
and it's a great way to see if the railroad is working well, and I don't have to worry about someone telling me I've never seen it done that way before.
Yeah, we need signs like that in our layout.
Yeah, well, what we need is Ken has the flange squealer. We need for Mike you go over a certain spot of the layout, and we'll have Gary Friesman. Oh, I've never seen it done like that before.
Yeah,
just his voice come over a speaker up above.
Right. Yeah.
My layout
better than the squealer. Maybe it goes over like the squealer, and it just
right.
Well, Joe says you can actually operate those scales. So what do you do, Joe?
Well, so I've got forks, right, for staging yards, and I have to, I can't run things around, my layout isn't set up that way. And so I have to run things point to point, but rarely does the entire session get finished. So there's always some switching to do. So if I have time and, nothing else going on, I'll run down there and switch out the yard and finish that. Or when I'm restaging, move some cars around. So I like to play with it too, the layout.
How about you, Dave? What do you do on yours between sessions?
I never go down there. No, it depends how you define running a train. I mean, if you're talking about, doing a switching job, I don't know that I've done that in a long time, but to just take something out of the staging yard and run the length of the railroad, I do that. And partially, like Mike mentioned, just to make sure that it actually turns on and everything works, so I don't, if I get a new freight cars, I try to run those around, just to see if they're going to make it. I've been doing that with the passenger cars that I have, but no, I don't think I've gone down and actually done a switching job in a couple of years, if that's how we want to define running the railroad. So
one of the messages from Dan about, it seems like Twin Cities is set up for operations, but I think it'd be a good idea to actually visit and talk to people who are just modelers of railroads, just to see how the other part works. So,
Yeah, I think that's the modeler's retreat too. Shows that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can show off your, highly detailed state. Look at Colin. We never knew Colin even had a layout. He's got the greatest station any of us have ever seen. Scratch built, and I'm just like, I want to see this guy's crew.
Yeah.
And then
Hey,
we'll
Joe, is that your
slowly
dog?
drag them to the dark side at a few operating sessions. Then it'll all be
I
over.
think it is.
Not my dog.
Yeah. But the other idea with what Dan's saying is that's kind of what we try with the skills day is what are some of the skills that you need or that you want to know to help you advance as a model railroader. And so we picked decals and scenery and weathering, but there are some others like soldering could be a good one. Just have somebody come and like Joe or a couple other, because we've got a lot of good modelers, have all your tools laid out and show them how to build a kit. Now that assumes that, and I don't know this, but assumes that people are still building kits, or are they buying all tangent and all this stuff that's all super ready built and ready to go.
See you, Joe.
Yeah.
His phone died on him or the dog or something. No, I agree. I think you're right, Ken. Is it a lost art form or is it still fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bring how you built your layout to the retreat, but I like seeing how people put together their railroad. Don't show me the finished one. Show me, what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what's nice about going on the layout tours. You can see a lot of that stuff too. People are in all different phases of the hobby.
Yeah.
So you can see everything from people starting up with brand new bench work to how they did their lighting to, fascias and backdrops and stuff. So I think we got that coming up pretty soon. Is that in April or is that in February? I don't remember.
April.
Okay. Yeah.
See, that would explain why I just took a perfectly good freight yard and decided to ballast it, which is what I'm doing right now. So, that's a good example of how it was with nothing done. With any kind of luck, it'll look better when I'm finished.
Yeah.
And I told Neil that I would even take pictures this time and try to make an article for the Fusey. So I'm taking pictures as I do it. So,
wow.
And anyone in chat, if you want to write up or take some pictures, Neil Maldus would love some content for the Fusey. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Plus, also post it on our Facebook group. Somebody posted early about some of the backdrops and things that are showing up. There's amazing content showing up.
Yeah, Jay posted some stuff. Hey, but speaking of things like that, if you have not seen the NMRAX from last weekend, go to NMRA Media. Is that what it is?
It's their NMRA YouTube channel.
Okay, the NMRA YouTube channel. And look for the YouTube, the NMRAX from last weekend. You might get fooled because I looked at it 3 or 4 times when it popped up on my YouTube and didn't go to it because it says December 2 instead of December 23. But it's a great clinic. There were a nice presentation about the Amherst show and about the NMRA National. But if you look at, and I don't mean to be giving Tom Gazer a big head, but you look at Tom's presentation and he takes you through different steps of scenery, and every one of them is very well documented as he goes through. That one could, that could be the basis of a whole day's skills day, modeler skills day, just going through that with people trying the different techniques. It was really neat. Yeah. Scenery on the workbench.
Yeah. I think thanks, Ken. I think that's what the amazing thing when I show pictures of the split rock that 99% of the scenery on my layout was built on my workbench, and I just put it in place. And I show you how to do that in that video.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I stole that idea. He showed me how to do it, and I did that on my last scenery build. And I actually did a bunch of that outside on the back deck because it was a nice day. It was really convenient to be able to do that, and a lot less mess in the basement. So, good tip. Go ahead and get on NMRAX and see that.
yeah.
Oh, Robert brings up another.
Well, what does Robert say? Okay.
Look at Robert's point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should.
And NMRX is usually 4 clinics, and then they'll break them out into single ones later. If you're good at videos, we can use a volunteer with that.
Yeah.
I see Heath jumped on, so I wanted to show him that his episode is number 3 when we talked about him. Heath is just starting operations on his in-scale layout he's building. I don't know whether we corrupted him or brought him to the right side when we changed. We got Heath invited to some operation sessions, and now he has the bug full time. So, and he's still deciding if using car cards or switch lists is for him. But that was a popular episode.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay will post more background photos. There we go. Oh, a friend. It's always somebody has a friend. I tell you.
Yeah, Jay's backdrops there look fantastic. That person he's got doing them really know what they're doing.
Yeah. But it's practice, it's for everybody. No one hits it out of the ballpark their first time,
Yeah.
I think my first backdrop looked like my granddaughter painted it. So.
I think that's how Marilyn got started painting my backdrop. Is she came down and looked at what I was doing, and she said, "Well, you can leave it like that, or can I help you?"
I've never seen it done like that before.
Yeah, isn't that the wife's version of "I've never seen it done like that before"?
Yeah, I think it was. Oh well.
Yeah, it's like the skirting on my layout.
I think Tom picked up on something that I kind of wished I had every first model I ever did to compare it to what I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you got to start someplace.
Yeah.
And not to cringe. I always tell people that they look back and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, just see how far you've come."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
wish I had a bunch of firsts. I look back at the first model I ever entered in an NMRA contest. I wish I had that after.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was horrible.
Yeah. Where'd you get the nerve to do that? Dave kind of put it in. He's ballasting the yard on his railroad, and I go visit other railroads and I see what they've done, and you go, well, that's incentive to either change or upgrade or redo things on my railroad. So, and I think John O'Brien has done a great job with his scenery, and is a great incentive to redo parts of the my railroad.
Yeah, you guys who operate there should share a couple photos or something sometime.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Or what you're building. Now, Joe did have to leave, but his little demonstration on how to do water slide decals was really good, because I think many of us know how to do water slide decals poorly. So
yeah, I could make that.
About us there.
Yeah, I could do that poorly decaling.
Right. Yeah.
That was one advantage of working on the MMR, as far as like scratch building cars and whatnot. You really had make sure that you knew how to paint and how you square things up and do the decals and the whole program. So that was that was a motivator if you decide you're going to go in that direction.
Well, the other thing that ties exactly to what you're saying, Dave, is bringing things like that to the modelers meet or to the convention and sit down with people and get ideas from them about okay, this is what I did. Tell me what you did. It as Will says, learning from the strength that everybody has some strengths, and that's really great. So Tom and I had talked about bringing in little snippets of following people's journeys on going through the MMR program. And it's not that you have to go through the MMR program, but that you can learn from people that are just going out and trying to learn. And I think that's great to learn with somebody else. So
yeah. I think what William was saying about mentors. Tim here is after Dave. Dave, do you remember Tim H at your layout, or you didn't blackball him there? So.
Well, he's telling the truth. I mean, that goes back to when I lived in the Chicago area. So, and it paid off, even if it took a few years.
Yeah, Ken B, aren't you from Chicago too?
Yeah. Yep.
We have two Southside gangsters here.
You can tell from our accents. When we first moved to Minnesota, everybody would say, "You're not from here," And that happened more than once.
But no, I really believe that having a mentor, and I think that's what the NMRA really gives you, is social aspect and a mentor. Because I was asked one time on a podcast show, and I was a guest, and one of the questions was, if you met a new modeler, what would you give them? And the usual answers always came up as like a magazine subscription, or Dremel tools, or this, or things. And my answer was, I'd give them my time. I'd give them 4 or 5 hours of whatever they wanted with. And I think maybe that should be sometime at one of these lucky raffle drawings or whatever we give away. We're always looking for a new engine or a passenger car or something. Maybe a few of us should just put our names in there, and you get 2 hours, with Mike Jordan or Ken Borowski or Dave Hamilton, to answer your questions one-on-one and not be interrupted, or to show you some of these things. I would do that, to sit down with people like, Will Sampson or Bob Rivard or somebody, learn how to weather and paint a DCC, sit down with any of you guys. To me, that's worth more than, any caboose. So.
Yeah, how to set up a proto throttle.
How to set up a proto throttle, exactly.
How to cut one in half.
And,
well, seen a guy do that.
Well, I think a mentor. Everybody has a mentor. Dave Voss. We've heard Gary Friesman's names mentioned so many times on the podcast. And Petrie's. Yeah, the Pig's Eye in Red Rock, and that we miss him. I operated on that layout a couple of times. I think Will Sampson, if he's still in the chat, made a wonderful video of the last session there, and that was a really neat layout, because that's where his layout was where I operate on the prototypes. So
now, whose layout was that?
Bruce Stafford.
Bruce Stafford, wonderful human being.
I never realized it, but you're right. You're familiar with the real thing versus what he modeled. That must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And he asked me some questions about, well, what happens here and here, when we were talking about Western Avenue and the auto job. And he's another guy that I had more fun talking to him in the kitchen than operating his layout. He was such a good soul. So
yeah. And did you ever dispatch his railroad?
I did not get a chance. I wasn't a regular enough for him to let me do that. So
no.
I just did a bunch of the haulers, you know.
Hope I think Dwight is trying to tread on some pretty dangerous ground here.
It's cheaper than a bass boat.
That's right.
My wife is in jet, so you better be throwing me under the bus.
Yeah. Don't look in the blue tubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't look under the layout. That's
Yeah.
Meet the UPS guy out in the front yard.
Yeah.
Don't let him ring the doorbell.
Yeah. Get to know the neighbor and have everything delivered there. I'm just holding it for him, honey. It's all his, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I did before I retired. Everything was delivered to my work address.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we can talk about drinking with Mike would be a good thing to auction up.
Hey, we all have our mentors, right?
Yeah, guys on the floor, Mike's going next. Who else won 2 hours? They're buying though, right, Mike? They're buying.
Just bring the ice.
Yeah, just bring ice. And if you do go to national convention or anything, my advice when you talk about drinking, do not drink with the president of the NMRA. Just don't.
Or the Australians.
Yeah.
Don't. Or the Australians. Don't drink with them. It's you know, some people talk about Wisconsinites. This is different. Don't do that.
Is that where the phrase "ask me how I know" came from?
Yeah, that's about it too. Yeah, there you go, Kelly. It was never a package free. See, my wife's already know. But no, I like that what William said of mentorship, and we all have mentors. I think that's why we're all here. Might have been a parent, might have been somebody in the hobby who just saved you or gave you advice. And it's interesting for different ages, you know, who our mentors would be versus someone like, you know, are we mentors for younger people like Dan Lindfors and some of the other younger NMRA guys? I hope we are. You know, Jay's handing out advice again here. Okay. We've devolved now into Wisconsinites here.
Well, that's all good advice because we're talking about coming to conventions.
Yeah.
No. And the nice part about the convention is if you leave the bar, it's only about 16 steps to the elevator.
Yes.
So I don't know how that works out in crawls, but
are those scale steps or HO steps?
Hands and knees steps.
Yeah, we'll see that. Ask for a first floor room when you get to Chippewa Falls for the convention.
Yep.
My advice right there.
I used to do a lot of trade shows in Las Vegas for my company, and boy, there's a place where you want to be careful when you're walking towards the elevator. All of a sudden, you end up with a friend. Oh.
But I think mentors would be a good topic. Somebody else posted, how do you get better? I think we talked like Alan Sackcamp. We talked about how to make our layouts go from good to great. And maybe we should discuss how to make ourselves go from good to great.
Yeah.
If anyone ever finds out, please tell me. Because I'd like to get somewhere above mediocre. And
well, we're and I think the other point was made about we as a group here, the five of us, and we've worked real hard to get the division more active, and so it probably reflects a lot of our interests, and we know there's other people that have other ideas. But I'll tell you, speaking for me, and I know Tom said the same thing, come to us and tell us, hey, we really need to be doing something like this. We'll help you get it organized and help you put it on. We may not be the guys to do it, but we certainly can be a lot of help. So make sure that if you're seeing something in the hobby that you want the NMRA to be helping you do or be more open about, make sure you bring that up.
I would say
You're
too
paying
that,
dues. Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
well, we would like to schedule another one of those clinic days like we did a couple months ago. So if anybody has any ideas of kind of what they'd like to see or learn about for the next clinic event day, I'll send a note to that Twin Cities Division email address so we can start making a list of some stuff we can plan on doing for that. Because that'll probably end up being in April sometime, probably, I would assume.
Yeah. And the NMRA is really yours. It's a volunteer organization. Nobody here is making money on it. If you're a member, you have the same vote anybody else does. Tom just mentioned that. Make sure you stand up, and if you want to meet somebody, just go up and meet them. I did that at the National. I saw names that I recognized, and I just went up and said, "Hi, I saw some of your work in the magazine," and every one of the people was just really wonderful about it. I met the lady that's the editor of Cynthia, the editor of the NMRA magazine, and she is just as sparkly as her editorials seem. She's so positive and nice. That's just really a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
info.
I don't think there's gatekeepers in our hobby. They are. I don't get it. I'll just never get it. So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap her up. Anybody got anything else?
Nope. It's been a great time. It's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to ideas for next year. And let's have some fun. Let's run some trains.
Yes, it's going to be another wonderful year. Like I said, come on back. We'll be here through February. And I'll let everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good to see everybody again.
Bye.